This is why I don't count. Just poked me in the eyeball. How rude. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. For today's video, I have my August palette ranking. I don't do these every single month because usually I don't test this many palettes out, but in the last month I have tested out quite a few palettes. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 palettes. In the last month, I've tested out 9 palettes and I just wanted to rank them and let you know my thoughts on each one of them after I've used them more than once. I have individual reviews on most of these palettes on my channel. I will let you know which ones they are in case you want to see the in-depth review, but these are going to be like little speed reviews on the palettes that I tried in August and whether or not I recommend them and why they are ranked the way they are ranked. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I do a ton of videos like this. While I don't do these every single month because I don't try that many palettes in a month usually, I do ranking videos of other sorts and some other beauty style videos. So if that interests you, I would love to have you join my fam, and let's get into this video. In last place, we have a palette. This is controversial, let me tell you, because my video there's a lot of haters on my review on the Huda Beauty Wild Obsessions palette. This is number 9. This is my least favorite out of all of them. This is the Chameleon palette. It just did not work for me. I have tried this a few more times since filming that video. I did create this look today using this palette, and let me tell you, I think I finally got the hang of it. I would say this isn't a bad palette for the price, but I've definitely tried better. Honestly, I wouldn't spend money on this palette. If I can go back in time, I would not purchase this palette. That's just me. So here's the thing, the mattes don't build very easily. Once you start building and packing on the color, it gets really patchy. If you go and watch my review on these, I did all 4 of them in one video. You'll see that I had a really hard time with them. With this one in particular, the deep burgundy shade here just was so patchy in my outer corner. I tried to do a halo eye. I tried to be different and do something different. I wanted to do the purple in the middle. Maybe it wasn't the best technique to use with this palette. What I would say is go from lightest to darkest and try to deepen out very lightly. You cannot build up color too much. Once you start doing that, then it gets patchy. I'm not a huge fan of the formula of this one in particular. I don't think it's that great quality. I don't know if I got a dud because every review I've seen has said that all of these are so amazing, and honestly I was really underwhelmed by all of them. If you were kind of like, meh, I like this color story, I don't have anything like this in my collection, then maybe yes, I would recommend it, but use a light hand when applying the shadows. I'm a pro makeup artist. I know what I'm doing with blending. I blend eyeshadows for a living. This just wasn't it for me. It was not my favorite for sure. You're gonna see the other 3 sprinkled throughout the rest of this ranking. And number 8th spot goes to the Kylie Cosmetics 24 karat eyeshadow palette. Let me tell you, I only picked this up because I was like, what is Kylie's new formula all about? I really didn't have a problem with her old formula whatsoever, but this was so underwhelming. First of all, packaging, not my favorite. I don't want a picture of Kylie on my eyeshadow palette. I'm sorry, like, why do I care? The color story in here, I was like, oh, I'll get used out of it. It's very nice everyday shades, but everything was super underwhelming. The mattes just don't build up that much. There's not enough depth in the mattes either for my liking, and the shimmers are also extremely underwhelming. There's 1 pressed glitter or 2, I think, I forget now, and it's so underwhelming. It is not like the Colourpop ones where they are very glittery and have a bunch of like sparkle and actual nice, I don't know, a nice texture. The metallics are probably the best part of this palette, but even still, they're really underwhelming. The mattes are just, they're very smooth, but they're almost too soft and they don't build up so much. So I just really don't like the formula of this. I don't think I'll be purchasing another Kylie Cosmetics eyeshadow palette unless the color story absolutely calls to me and I'm like, I gotta have it. I really purely bought this because I was curious on to how the new formula was. This is also like $65. That is expensive, guys. That is Huda Beauty price, Natasha Denona price. I prefer those formulas way more, 100 times more over this. So if you were interested in this, I don't recommend it. Not a fan of this. What I have is actually not new on the market, but I did try it in the month of August, so I thought I would talk to you guys about it anyway. And it's from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Walk of No Shame quad. I did get this in my mystery box. I have a whole video trying this, and while this palette is really nice and there's a time and place for this quality, and I'll tell you in a second why, it just isn't for me personally. I think it's a nice everyday palette, but I don't prefer mattes that aren't completely matte. These are mattes with a bit of shimmer in them, so I don't like that in the crease personally. The look I created in the video where I tried this out, I think is the only look I'll create with this palette, which is really sad. I think that these do well in the crease for people with mature eyelids. However, not my cup of tea. I would rank this higher if these two were matte shades. It's just a really boring palette. It's just not my favorite formula of eyeshadow. This is my first ever Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palette, and I don't think I would get another one because it's just not my cup of tea, and I think it caters more toward people with mature eyelids. Next, we have the Huda Beauty Jaguar palette. I'm surprised I ranked this lower than the other two. I really am, because I love this color story. I think it's so gorgeous and sexy and sultry. I love a cool tone look. I love that there's a black in this palette. I think it's really helpful to deepen out any look. I love the color story of this palette. The quality still wasn't my favorite. I did get a little bit patchy as well with this one, but I think I've learned my lesson in that less is more. You can't really pack on the shade. This black is not meant to be packed on. These are all made in China, by the way. I don't think I mentioned. They're not the normal Huda Beauty quality. I prefer her bigger palettes. Let's just say that. I really do. I don't think that these are really that worth the money. The reason that I say that this is okay is because I love the color story, and I'm definitely going to be using this palette. This is not a color story that I have a lot of in my collection. I don't generally go for cool tones, so this was the palette I was eyeing the most out of all of them. So I'm like, I love it. It's just the quality of the matte is not my favorite. This one has gorgeous shimmers. I love this shade. I love this shade. I love the purples. I love there's a gold. I feel like it's a little mismatched in here, misplaced, but whatever. That's okay. I do really like this palette. It's just that the mattes, you gotta be careful with them. That's all. Yeah, I have 10 palettes and I said 9. So this is great. This is why I don't count. This is why I don't count. Next we have from Colourpop. This is also not a new palette. This is the What a Hoot palette. This is from the Animal Crossing collection. I got this in my Colourpop mystery box. I love this palette. I think it is so adorable. I think the quality in here is so good. The mattes are very pigmented but blendable. I just wish that there was like a medium tone brown, because it would really help blend out the deeper shade. This is a really nice transition shade. There just needs to be something a little bit more, but it's a quad. It's a quad. It's great for a quad because you get this really nice lid shade. This is a pressed glitter, which I know is not for everyone, but I love the Colourpop pressed glitters. I think it is stunning. It's gorgeous on the inner corner. It is so pretty. Definitely better than the Kylie one. Oh my gosh, so much better. And I think the quality in here is really nice. I'm not sure the cost of this. I do think that they're phasing this out, and that's why they put them in the mystery boxes, but if you can get it, I definitely would, because it is such a cute little palette and it's perfect for travel. This is something that I'm gonna be traveling with. You got your really nice everyday neutral shades in here, and it's perfect. You don't need very much, and it's super travel friendly, and you get a little mirror and everything. It's super cute. I think that this is a great palette. Another one that's super travel friendly and gorgeous is the Wild Obsessions Tiger palette from Huda Beauty. This one I liked more than the Jaguar, and I'm surprised at this because I usually don't go for a color story like this because I don't like neutrals all that much. This is a better quality palette. I did have a little bit of issues with the deep brown, but I learned my lesson, and then since doing that review video, I have learned that you just less is more. As I keep saying, less is more with the deeper shades. Don't try to pack it on. It's just not gonna work. If you love neutrals, you will love this. I think it's a great everyday palette. The quality in here is great. Just again, you can't build up the deep mattes all that much, and the shimmer shades are gorgeous. I love the gold. I do kind of wish there were a little bit more variety in shades. Like every single palette has 2 shades that are extremely similar. I love the quality of these ones, by the way. They're like an iridescent kind of topper shade. Super gorgeous. I love this palette. I think it's great. If you like neutrals, definitely recommend this one. Next we have the Python palette. I really like the color story of this palette. This was the palette that I was like second most interested in, because I really like the Jaguar, the color story of the Jaguar, which is so weird of me because I like color. The only reason I prefer the Jaguar color story over this one is because I felt like I had this in the Club Nebula. I would say if you own the Kaleidos Club Nebula palette, the collaboration with Angie, you don't need this palette because there are so many similar shades in here. I would say it doesn't go as deep and dark browns as this, but there's a similar shade to almost every single shade in this palette in the Club Nebula palette. Anyway, the quality in here is also not as good as the Club Nebula, but it is the best quality out of all of the Wild Obsessions palettes, in my opinion. I love the color story of this. If this calls out to you, I highly recommend it. I love the blue. I think it's gorgeous. These lighter shades, I was really pleasantly surprised by this like lime green yellow shade, whatever you want to call it. I loved it. It was so good. It actually is very pigmented and it blends out very nicely. This one was my favorite out of all 4 for sure. Highly recommend it. The number 3 spot goes to the Natasha Denona mini Xenon palette. I didn't rank this higher because it's kind of a boring color story. I love this palette because I think it will make a really great companion palette. That's what I said in my review. I did do a dedicated review on this. I would say if you own the Colourpop Blowing Smoke whatever it is, smoke sessions, whatever it's called, palette, you do not need this because Colourpop has great quality for the price, and I've heard that that palette is very, very good. I don't own it, so I don't know, but this one is really, really good. I like the black because it is not too pigmented, so you can kind of build it up. That makes it easy to blend out. I did do 3 looks with this palette, believe it or not. You can do a lot of looks with just this palette. But like I said in my review video, I look forward to, and I have actually used it as a companion palette to deepen out looks. I love the silver. I think it has great quality. The grays are great. Even this cream color is stunning. I love it. If you don't own any palettes with black eyeshadow or just want a really good quality black eyeshadow, this is only $25 and I highly recommend it. I think it is worth the price and great quality. Number 2 is also not a new palette on the market, but I did try it for the first time in August. This is the Viseart Grande Pro 1X palette. I love this palette. If you are a makeup artist of any kind, I think you need this palette in your kit like ASAP. This has every single matte color you will ever need to create any sort of look on any client. Just poked me in the eyeball. How rude. So you've got a black, which is great, but you got a bunch of grays. You got some cool tones, some warm tones. You have so many options to create any look you'll need on any client. You have even some color here, which is amazing. I haven't tried every single shade in this palette on a client, but I have swatched it, so I do really like the quality. Now here's the thing about these mattes, they're a one size fits all type of matte. They're really creamy and soft, which makes them blendable. They're quite pigmented, but I think they're suitable for any sort of eyelid, including mature eyelids. It's like really, really soft to the touch and really creamy and blendable. I look forward to using it on more clients. You know what number 1 is, I'm sure by now. Pat McGrath Utopian Dream palette. This is such a stunning palette. First of all, the packaging. I really love the quality of Pat McGrath eyeshadows, so they're obviously going to be up there in my rankings. Honestly, if I had to rank all of my mothership palettes, I think I would have a heart attack. I am going to be doing that video soon. I just don't know when, and I'm gonna like cry having to do that. Anyway, the quality in here is so gorgeous. The color story is also really pretty. Do I think everyone needs it? No. If you're not a collector, I definitely recommend going through all the motherships and seeing which color story calls to you the most and buy that one. You only need one mothership if you're like not a collector like I am. I have every single mothership. I would say this is up there with one of my favorites because it has the bright colors in here. I love bright colors. You can make very, very wearable looks, but you could also do really nice pops of color. This shade, the Splits Astral, so freaking gorgeous. The most gorgeous, shifty, duochrome, sparkly amazingness. I love it so much. It is such a stunning shadow. I have to stop myself from using this palette. I have used this palette so many times in the month of August. I think it is such a stunning palette. The mattes are very, very nice as well. I love Pat McGrath mattes because you can kind of fake like there's 2 shades in your crease. Even if you're just using one, like the deepest one, for example, you can blend it out into almost nothing and then pack it on and make it look like there's 2 shades. That's why I love that she only includes 2 to 4, I guess, mattes in each mothership. I really love the quality of Pat McGrath. Obviously, it's an experience to own a mothership palette, so this is definitely my number 1. I love the artwork as well. Oh my gosh, I always keep the packaging. I know people that throw away the Pat McGrath packaging and I'm like, what are you doing? You pay for the experience, honestly. But the quality is amazing. The quality is there. You have to admit this is unmatched. It's like the best quality in eyeshadow form. But yeah, okay, that was all of my August palettes ranked. I really had a hard time ranking them, but it was fun. I tried a lot of eyeshadow. Hopefully I try. You know what? I probably will not have a September ranking video because I just will not try as many palettes in September because I won't even be home for most of September, sadly. I'm going to Miami to take care of my mom who's having surgery. Let me know what palette you love the most in August. I would love to know. And yeah, that completes this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I had so much fun filming this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Why are you not focusing? Xenon panel. The number three spot goes to the Natasha. If you don't own black eyeshadow, I feel like I've said this twice already today. Oh no, I did a different video today. Anyway, stunning shadow.